All right, so in the last video, we talked about reward markers. In this video, we're going to explain correction markers. So just a quick recap on markers in general. Remember, a marker is a sound that either rewards or corrects a behavior. So just to define a correction is a negative consequence for an unwanted behavior. Corrections reduce the likelihood of your dog repeating a behavior. So if you correct your dog for jumping on grandma or digging a hole in your backyard, your dog is less likely to do that again. Remember from our reward marker video, our reward markers are yes and good. Our correction marker is no. So if your dog was in one of our board and train programs, they've already been conditioned to the word no. However, some people opt to change their correction marker to something else like eh. No is a very common word that we use in conversation a lot, so it can help some people to use a different word. It's fine if you choose to do that, just make sure you're following all the same charging principles that we're about to explain. So what is charging? Remember from the last video, charging means we're giving a neutral sound, meaning, and power. Dogs aren't born inherently understanding the meaning of yes and no. We have to give these sounds meaning by combining them with something our dog does understand, like food, for example. So remember from the reward marker video, the way to charge yes is by giving your dog a treat after you say yes. You charge the word no by following no up with a correction, which is something that your dog doesn't like. Some dogs aren't sensitive to verbal corrections, meaning if you just yell no at them, they'll just keep doing the bad behavior, or it won't reduce the chance that they'll repeat that behavior. So with most dogs, we have to charge the word no. The types of physical corrections we use most often are body pressure. We also use leash corrections and e-collar corrections. Those are the most common types. But it's important to note that what one dog perceives as unpleasant, another dog might not. So some dogs won't like if you just point your finger and hard stare, like if you go no, like that. Some dogs that are more sensitive might respond. However, another dog might just look at you and be like, what are you doing? I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. So the point is, it depends on a lot of factors, and your trainer will talk to you a lot about this in your lessons in terms of what type of physical you should use. It's also very situational though, so we may use one type of correction in one situation and a different type of a correction in a different situation with the same dog. But with all that aside, the most important thing to remember is that your dog should respond to you when you say no. It should stop them from continuing to do what they're doing, and it should reduce the chance that they repeat that behavior again. If it's not having this effect on them, it probably means that your no is not charged and you need to charge it more. So remember, just like if you never give your dog a treat after you say yes, if you never give a correction after you say no, your dog may become desensitized to no and ignore it. So talk to your trainer about this. They'll give you lots of insight into how sensitive or insensitive your dog is and how often you have to charge no. Now we can also charge our no by taking something away that our dog wants. So for example, if you're petting your dog and your dog jumps on you, say no and stop petting them.
Hi there, Mama.
No. Good girl. No. So as we said earlier, the way to charge your no marker is saying no and then following it up with something your dog doesn't like. And for certain dogs, taking something away, like taking away your affection or even taking food away, which I'll show you in a second, can be very, very effective as well. No. No. Good. No. No. Yeah, good girl. We call this negative punishment. Negative punishment means you're taking something away that your dog wants. Negative punishment can be effective for certain situations, but for a lot of things it's not very effective because your dog might not care as much about that. Also, be careful not to take food away from your dog. For example, if they're eating food out of a bowl on the ground, don't correct your dog's behavior by taking the bowl of food away from them, because you can create resource guarding and aggression around defending resources. However, the exercise that we just showed you there, where you're holding the food, you have it, and your dog does an inappropriate behavior, bites you, jumps on you, that's okay to take the food away from them there because you have control over the resources. Some other important notes about marking that we covered in the last video. Remember, dogs don't hear words, they hear sounds. So when you mark with your no, make sure your tone of voice sounds different than your regular tone of voice. So we generally say no in a sterner, deeper tone, but make sure it sounds unique and consistent. So make sure it sounds the same every single time. And also remember, it's okay if you want to change your correction marker to something else like but make sure you're following all the same charging principles. Also remember that markers help with timing. They help our dog connect their behavior with the reward or the correction. If your correction happens too late, your dog might not understand why they're getting corrected. So for example, if your dog pees in the house, but you don't catch them in the act, if you get mad at them 15 minutes later, they probably won't understand why they're getting in trouble. They may just think you're randomly getting mad at them, or they may associate the correction with something else they're doing. Your correction should happen within less than 2 seconds of the behavior. So a marker gives you a window of time to deliver the physical correction where it will still make sense to your dog. So let's use the place bed as an example. When your dog's on the bed, if they try to get off, the moment their paw steps off, you're gonna say no, then you're gonna walk over, grab the leash, give a correction, and then tell your dog to get back onto the bed. Sky, place.
Hi there, Mama.
No. Even though the physical correction, the leash pop, was delayed, your dog will still understand why they got corrected because you marked the moment that their paw stepped off. And your no will now be more charged. So the next time your dog tries to get off the bed, you may only need to say no. They'll take that seriously, get back on the bed, and then they won't try to get off again.
Hi there, Mama. Yeah.
No. So let's use another example, waiting at doorways or gates. So let's say you walk up to a door, you tell your dog, wait. Sky, wait. You open the door, but your dog doesn't stay there, they go through the doorway. So what you're gonna do, just like with the place bed, the moment that their paw crosses that boundary, you're gonna say no, and then you're gonna use the physical correction, whatever you're using. So you could then use a leash pop, no, wait. Or if you are standing on the other side of the doorway, you could use body pressure, no, wait. And that's it for correction markers. So by now you should understand how to empower your words so that you can reinforce or change your dog's behavior with just your voice.